You have now tuned into Insight Sundays, the show that brings you relevant news, youth and political topics with a new direction and focus for our communities. Log in with Facebook and get connected. Here's your host, Adrian Mickens.
Good evening, Indiana, and welcome to another edition of Insight Sundays right here on WHNB TV 40. I'm your host, Adrian Mickens, and as always, we have to acknowledge all of our sponsors, which are Andrew J. Brown Academy, Indiana Christian Leadership Conference, or ICLC, Ramey and Haley Attorneys at Law, George Buck Elementary School, Alpha Foundation for the Youth, Buttons and Bows Hair Salon, Bethesda Temple Southeast Campus, New Vision Lighthouse Ministries, Hair Artistry Indy, Inner Beauty Program Incorporated, New Breed of Youth, First Achieve the Challenges for Excellence, Beach Grove Bible Church, and Sam Ash Music Store. Stay connected with us on all of our social media platforms, which is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, all at the title name of @Insight Sundays. Again, that is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, all at the title name of @Insight Sundays, as well as you can download the Insight Sundays mobile app on the App Store and Google Play Store. Again, you can download the Insight Sundays mobile app on the App Store and Google Play Store. As always, Indiana, we have another spectacular show for you guys this week. This week, I am sitting here with the book author by the name of Nathan Turner. How's it going?
I'm good. How about you?
Pretty good, pretty good. So, can you tell Indiana what your journey and your story is, and who Nate Turner is?
I'm just a guy from Gary originally,
Right.
like you.
All right, that's right.
Just a little older than you. But I've been here in Indianapolis now the second time since 1997. I was here from 83 to 88 as an undergraduate student at Butler, and left and said I would never come back unless I was married with a child. And in 97, married with a child, I came back to Indianapolis. So I've been here ever since.
I know that you have done a lot within the journey of your life and in your career and in your field. Can you explain your journey about the colleges and universities that you've attended along the way?
Sure. I'm from Gary, and was a young man who was told the best I could hope to do was join the military. So I was not a good student. Got lucky and had two universities say that they would accept me. One was Fisk, the other was Butler. Fisk lost his accounting program, ended up at Butler and majored in accounting. Got an accounting degree from Butler, worked for the federal government for a number of years, and decided to go back to law school. And I went to law school and graduate school and got a master's in history and theology, as well as a law degree.
So let's just kind of get right into the book writing.
Okay.
When did you get that inspiration that it just hit you that I should be an author? Before we get to all the other books, when did you know that you were inspired to be an author?
I think my graduate school thesis, I was required to write a 25-page paper, and it turned into a 150-page book. And so that's when it kind of hit me that maybe I enjoy writing a little bit. But I didn't write anything outside of writing letters to my son until 2014, when we published the first book, Raising Superman.
All right. And are there any inspirations that you know, because I know we got a loaded show here of different questions, but are there anybody who's inspired you to creatively write a little bit more that you look up to?
My son probably is my largest inspiration. He's the person that told me, the 16-year-old on his way to Brazil told me that I could do more. And one of those things he thought I could do was write and share the things that I share with him with other people.
You know, I hear a commonality that you speak about your son a lot. Can you speak upon that relationship building, not just when you have a young son, because it's so easy for fathers to be apart with young sons, but when they hit that prime age, about 12 to 13, the personality starts kicking in. Mama can't handle them anymore. What would you give as advice, to stick around in the long haul?
Well, I tell fathers, first thing is that the child that you want to have happens by the age of 7. Aristotle and the Jesuits believe that if you bring me a child at 7, you will have shown me the man. So I think whatever you get at 13 is what you were giving your child from 0 to 7.
What would you say is the recipe of building to that age of 7? Just a quick synopsis, because I don't want to give it all away.
Sure. One is to be intentional. So whatever it is that you want your child to be, then you have to start giving that child that. It's like us now looking at the flowers. Someone came out and they picked a particular type of seed, they planted in the ground in a particular type of dirt. They water at a particular time of day. They trust the sun will shine at particular times of day. It's a process. And many people raise children without actually thinking about the process, what you want in the end. Somebody wanted, I don't know if those are daffodils, but some yellow flower of some sort. They wanted those flowers. And I'd always ask parents, what is it that you want from your child? If the world were perfect and today was your last day on the planet, what do you want people to say about your child? Because whatever that is, you need to start developing that right now.
Which leads me to your book. That's going to be coming up here pretty soon.
Right.
And the title of it specifically is It's a Jungle Out Here.
Out there.
And you said it was inspired by The Lion King.
By The Lion King.
And my pastor just got done preaching about The Lion King. And that's even though it's a Disney movie, that movie is very powerful. That's why they're doing the reboot for it.
And money.
Oh, yeah, that's true too. But where did you get that inspiration, thought process, and what's the book about that people should know?
So The Lion King is my favorite book. And it is the movie, the animated show that made me want to be a father. So I was sitting at the theater with my wife. We watched The Lion King. Everybody walked out the audience after the movie was over, and I sat there and I cried. Because what I saw on the screen was a relationship between a father and a son that I didn't have with my father that I wished I could have. And although it was too animated as an animated, lion, I'm like, yeah, I want to have that. And there's a scene where the young Simba says to Mufasa, "Dad, we're pals." And that stuck with me. Like that's exactly what I want one day for my son to say to me, that Dad, we're pals. So that's the impetus for writing this piece.
What's one of the biggest things that you want people to get as a takeaway from the book itself? What do you want to stick with them? So
there are 40 themes that I've extracted from The Lion King. There are only 10 in this first book, but so I'll give you a couple of them. The first theme is that the father's responsibility begins the moment that a child takes their first breath. Right? We men have to be actively involved, and there's things I explain about what happens to the woman's body during the 9 months of pregnancy that men have no way of truly understanding, with no appreciation for it. But given that she's gone through all that to get your seed on the planet, you have to step in at that very moment and be actively involved. Not waiting for her to do stuff, you have to do it. It's one of the things.
Why do you think in this day and age it's been so common for young men to basically impregnate and disappear?
I think people do what they see, and we're all creatures of our social environment. So when you don't see people really pour into another person's life, you don't know what pouring into a life looks like. So if you spend time with my son, my wife and I, if you were with us from day one, you would have seen a man pour into his child's life all the time. There's a saying, Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." So why don't you see it? Because ask the people who don't pour into their children's life, who are the 5 people that they're most inspired by? Who are the 5 people who most influence their life? If you don't have 5 people in your life, 5 men in your life who are pouring into their children's life as if that's the most important thing in the planet, then you're not gonna see men grow up to be men who pour into their children's life.
Now, with that, just piggyback right on that. We live in a results-driven society. Everything is fast, and you can mentor to somebody face to face like we're doing right now. You can tell them till you're blue in the face about ways and steps to get their child to do right. What are some results that you could say over time to look out for, to let that parent know you're on the right track, you're doing a good job, and don't get discouraged if the child still kind of want to, play the fence a little bit on right and wrong?
Sure. So at what age are we talking about the child?
Let's start about 10.
About 10. So here's some things you should know. That a child's brain does not completely finish developing until about a male's brain to about 28 years old. And children are born to be narcissists. So they are going to be all about themselves. So you should not be surprised when your child only cares about themselves, because that's what children do. Now, what changes that is what they see, the things that happen consciously around them. So if you are a giving person and you take them places so that they can understand what it means to give and serve, then they'll get that. It may take them a while. It won't happen overnight. But again, just like we talked about those flowers, there's a process. You have to do the same things repeatedly without ceasing.
Got you. All right. On that note, we're going to take a quick break, Indiana, and we'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Crystal Hines of the Inner Beauty Program, where I'm the founder and president. We have been enriching and inspiring and empowering youth ages 8 to 18 since 2002. Our original purpose of the program is to have girls focus on their inner attributes in a world where the outer appearance is the focal point. We have a dynamic staff of women who are here to provide all types of programming for your young ladies, including life coaching, mentoring, tutoring, boot camps, and special events. Please stay connected with us through our website, myinnerbeautyprogram.org, our Facebook page, Inner Beauty Program Inc., and our mobile app, Inner Beauty. Thank you.
The civil justice system in the United States was developed intentionally by our founding fathers. They knew and had the wisdom to foresee that individuals would need protection from each other and from their government. They also saw and foresaw a day when they would need protection from a corporate entity, the new corporate citizen. Here at Ramey and Haley, we bring passion and experience to every file we open, every client for whom we become their lawyer.
This is Pastor Derek Miller, and I'm so excited about introducing you to the fruitful ministry here at Bethesda Temple Southeast Campus. I'm here with my lovely wife, Sister Valerie Miller.
Bethesda Temple Southeast Campus is a community church with the community at heart.
In 2008, I began collaborating with my bishop, Roy Steenfield Sr., on some outreach initiatives on the southeast side of Indianapolis at Bethel Park Community Center. It was here where we established Teen Nights, and the Inner Youth Achievers College Tour program was also birthed out of this initiative. God saw fit for next level growth, and in 2015, the Lord opened a major door for Bethesda Temple Southeast Campus.
The mission of Bethesda Temple Southeast Campus is to dedicate our lives to proclaim the gospel message of our Lord Savior Jesus Christ through our witness, loving God's people through our service, and strengthening communities through spiritually sound doctrine.
Bethesda Temple Southeast Campus offers an effective children's church ministry with curriculum-based instruction. We also offer men, women, and teens ministries. We can be reached at 317-941-6143. Or you can find us on the World Wide Web, www.btacsouth.org.
Or download our mobile app, Bethesda South, via Google Play or the App Store.
Bethesda Temple Southeast Campus, a place of compassion,
a place of love,
a place where God is.
Buttons and Bows Nail and Hair Salon welcomes you to our new location at 6233 Allisonville Road, where we service all nationalities. We are a full nail and hair salon. Booth space available. Call 317-362-0323 for more info.
Welcome back, Indiana, to Insight Sundays, right here on WHNB TV 40. I'm your host, Adrian Mickens, and we are still here with part 2 of this interview with Nathaniel Turner, who's an author and a book writer. So let's get right back to this interview. I know that you do a lot of traveling here within the States, doing a lot of mentorships and motivational speaking, but one of the biggest things that's a crave right now is TED Talks, and I know that you were a part of that. Can you speak about the words of wisdom that you gave to the younger people who was listening that day?
So my TED Talk was about Generation Z, and that we owed this current generation an apology. So my son's a part of Generation Z, children born after 1995. 95 and above, and who are the first digital generation. So, and the purpose of the talk was just to let people know that we criticize like the younger generations all the time. I believe you're a millennial, so I hear people make jokes about millennials all the time. And I said in the talk, listen, whatever our generations are or are not, it's because of us, right? So the tree and the fruit, the fruit cannot be a sour tasting fruit unless the tree is a sour producing tree. So that's essentially the message that I want. And if we want you all to be better or different, then we have to be better or different.
So what was some of the feedback that you got after that first TED Talks?
So I didn't expect anything. I didn't know. I was like, I hope 100 people watch it and that'd be mostly my family.
You got more than 100.
I did get more than 100. And I looked up one day, and it was 1,000, it was 5, and it was 10, and it was, then one day some lady called me and said, hey, you got 300,000 views.
Let's just say you went viral.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, okay. So I read some of the comments every once in a while, and most often I'm surprised by some of the comments. Sometimes I've read where young people talked about that they didn't have relationships with their parents, and hearing me talk was encouraging. Mm-hmm. I've heard people write about wanting to commit suicide until they saw the text. So it's incredible. I'd like to be able to speak to those people, in person, but they make comments on the site, and I don't respond to the comments. I don't know if Ted wants me to respond or not, so I don't respond.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I know at that kind of event you have all different races and cultures that's at that event. And I know a lot of things that go on within family homes. Obviously, we know definitely about the Black community, but there are different cultural things that are, what we say, systemic in each household that can hold each cultural group back. So what would you say would be the remedy or medicine to break bad habits, no matter what culture it is?
So I like to ask parents, typically, no matter what their race or socioeconomic background is, two questions. One, the first question is, what are your hopes and your dreams for your child? Because I think those are universal. Everybody, when you have a baby and you go to the nursery and your baby's delivered, and if you had a row of people, fathers and mothers, stand outside the glass, right, that are watching the children in the incubator, they all would have specific hopes and dreams for their children that are pretty much the same kind of thing. They want their children to be healthy. They want their children to have great opportunities in life, et cetera. So that's the first thing I'd ask. And then the second thing I ask families all the time is who? Like, who do you want to be? We're all going to also end up in the same place. Yeah. We're going to end up on a mortuary table at some point. However you decide, if you're going to be cremated or buried or whatever, we're all going to end up on the same slab at some point. Who do you want to be when your life is over?
Let's kind of talk about some of the projects that you do. I know it's one called the Good Men Project and some other ones. Can you elaborate on some of the things that you're doing?
So I write for I've written for a number of publications, some major publications, some international publications, the Good Men Project being one of them. Okay. Recently was contracted to write for the Washington Post. So I'm really kind of excited about that. Awesome. But I've written for Black Enterprise and some parenting magazines, et cetera. And I've spoken at a number of universities and for some Fortune 500 companies, et cetera. So
let's speak about, and what I get when I ask this question, I'm talking about reading itself. For somebody like me, who is a millennial, I am in that video age. I grew up playing video games from Nintendo to Sega, ushering in the PlayStation, all this stuff. And I'm aware as an adult now, of how that consciously seeps into your brain. And it really controls you. That's why they call it TV programming. But what would you say to get this millennial generation and generation, I believe it's Y, to make sure that they read more than they just watch videos more? What's the benefit of reading content than watching content?
Well, oftentimes the things that you should read are things that have been recorded and have been valuable over the annals of history. And the things that you see on video many times are just what's important at the very moment. So I would encourage you to read, because oftentimes the things that people have a tendency to reference in a video, somebody wrote 1,000 years ago, and you can get the real true story by reading, and you're only going to get a snippet of that story from a video.
Yeah, that's true. In this day and time with the crave of social media, can you speak about how that really unconsciously is now part of the American culture and really the world's culture, that you can't even step away from 5 seconds without directing back to the phone? But, again, their excuse is that they're reading content, different things of that nature. But what would you say that mentally takes away?
I don't like to read books over a phone. So I'm old school. I want to actually physically touch the book.
My wife.
And I'm cool with turning my phone off and setting it away. So if I know my son is safe and my mother is safe, my wife is safe, I'm cool. Like the people who matter the most, I know they're safe. Then I don't need to have a phone near me. So I'm fine with reading a book. And and when I'm writing, I do that. Like, I turn everything off and I just write. So I can be uninterrupted for a period of time.
Gotcha.
And I enjoy that.
Gotcha. All right. kind of wrapping up the interview here just a little bit, what would be some words of wisdom and encouragement? You know, I know this isn't TED Talks right now, but what would you say to the state of Indiana right now about keeping God as the vocal point of their life and how beneficial that is in the long run?
Well, assuming everybody believes in God,
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah.
But if they don't believe in God, I think there are some things that are universally true, right? That we all owe the planet our best, right? That the planet only moves forward when you and I are prepared to carry the planet forward. So I would ask everybody to be absolutely prepared to do their part for the best part of the human good. Yeah. And if that means just the general kindness to your neighbors, if it means reading a book about something that you didn't know something about so you can be more informed, but we all owe the planet better than we've actually been given it.
All right. And absolutely, last question. Where can people find all of your content online, or maybe you have them publicated? Where do they find your content at, from the older books, the first two, until the current one that's getting ready to release? So
our books are found anywhere books are sold, Amazon, Apple Books, etc. But you could also find all our content on raisingsuperman.com. So RAISINGSUPAMAN.com. Super Ebonics.
Okay. Okay.
So that's where you can find it.
Gotcha. And what's all three of the names of the books?
The first book is called Raising Superman. The second book is called Stop the Bus. And this most current book is called It's a Jungle Out There, Powerful Parenting Lessons Inspired by the Lion King.
All right. I appreciate it so much for having you here on WHNB on Insight Sundays in Indiana. Make sure that you check all of the bookstores as possible to make sure you get your hands on a copy. I guarantee you that it will change and be insightful in your life. And we will check you guys out next week.
At George Buck Elementary, we believe in excellence and strong education, fulfilling the mantra, I am brilliant, I am unstoppable, I am confident, I am kind. We believe that our scholars with dedicated staff will accomplish great achievements in education. George Buck Elementary School, shaping students one day at a time.
During the last 5 years, National Heritage Academies ranked in the top 25% of U.S. schools for academic growth.
I'm I'm learning a lot.
We want you to have academic success, but we want you to have emotional success.
They teach me to be a good person.
My children feel very safe.
That's why 92% of our parents recommend us.
We are in the business of producing excellent human beings. That's our legacy to the world.
Beach Grove Bible Church. Beach Grove Bible Church. Beach Grove Bible Church. Beach Grove Bible Church.
I just got the best deal on my new guitar at Sam Ash.
I always get advice I can trust.
I got it in time for my gig.
The coolest selection of music and sound gear, always at the guaranteed lowest prices. Sam Ash, the real deal. Get zero interest financing for 24 months with your Sam Ash credit card.
Hi, I'm Dr. Holden Flynn, principal at George Buck Elementary School. I'd like to share with you why George Buck is a great school. First, we have an amazing staff. We are invested in children succeeding. We spend time getting to know and assessing all of our students so we can build an instructional program that meets their individual needs. Second, we use an incentive system to encourage and reward students. We introduce students to fine arts by offering music and art to all. And last, we offer a variety of extracurricular activities, which include basketball, cheerleading, soccer, volleyball, and after-school tutoring with the Boys and Girls Club. If you are interested in finding out more information about George Buck Elementary School, please call us at 317-226-4294 or email at holdenflynnt@myips.org.
Charlotte Salone, the Hair Oracle. Visit thehairoracle.com for healthy tips and hair advice. Connect with us. Allow us to empower, inspire, and serve you.
Tune in to Insight Sundays on WHMB 40 at 5 p.m.
Also, tune in every third Sunday where we'll be educating on health and beauty with Mommy and me, also doing makeovers.
Check your local listing for your TV programming.